Hello everyone, welcome back to another CSEC Biology Past Paper Review. Today we're reviewing a paper one, and this was from the year 2016. Again, I know this is almost time for examination, so I'm going to run through this as quickly as possible. But I want to remind you that when you go to the examination, please read through the instructions carefully. And if you have any queries or any doubt, please refer to your examiner so you can clarify any doubt that you might have. All right, so let's jump to question number one. And question number one reads now, which of the following features is used to classify a group of organisms as class Insecta? And so the size doesn't matter, the shape doesn't matter, the color doesn't matter, but the number of segments definitely, because remember now that insects, they have 3 segments on their body, all right? Or their body is divided into 3 segments, which is the head, the thorax, and the abdomen. So this segments definitely is indeed important. All right, why not jump to question number 3 since it's sideways? I'm going to do it like that through the paper, so we do not need to move up and down. And so for question number 3, it said that living organisms such as plants are affected by abiotic factors which determine where they become established. Which of the following options describe some of these determining factors? And this is a repeated question. And so remember that we're looking for the non-living aspect of the environment, which include sunlight, availability, soil, pH, and also minerals. So option A will be our correct answer right there. All right, so let's go into the next question now, which is question number 2. And question number 2 said that Eleanor collected 13 snails in a 25 centimeter by 25 centimeter quadrat. What is the density of the snail population in 1 meter square area? Now, I use a method that I think can be easily followed by most people. So let's run through it and show you what I did. And so what I did is to convert my centimeters into meters by dividing by 100. And so hence I have 25 centimeters is equal to 0.25 meters. And so to get my area in meter square, what I did is to multiply 0.25 by 0.25. All right. So 25 by 25 is same thing as 0.25 by 0.25 in meter. And so what I get is 0.625 meters square, okay? Now from this, what I know, since this is my area in meter square, then I can also say that 13 snails will be found or can be found in 0.625 meter square area, okay? Now S is what I want to find. And I want to find the number of snails, which is S, in 1 meter square, okay? So since I have this mathematical expression right here, 13 is equal to 0.625, while S that I don't know is equal to 1 meter square. So all I'm going to do now is I know that these two equations are equal to each other. So what I'm going to do is a cross multiply. And so I'm going to cross multiply 13 by 1 and S by 0.625. And so when I do that, I have 13 times 1 and S multiplied by 0.625. And so I make S be the subject of a formula. And so S is equal to 13 times 1, which is still 13, divided by 0.625. What I get is 208. So definitely C is our answer right here. All right. And there are many ways to work around it, but I think this method is kind of easy for most persons to kind of follow and kind of see the logics behind it. All right. Now let's go to the next question. And the next question I'm going to go into is question number 4, actually. All right. And so question number 4, which is item 4, is a refer to the following diagram of a food web. And food web is a common question, so please make sure you know your food web. And here now we have a phytoplankton, we have zooplankton, we have small fish and crustaceans, we have large fish, we have marine mammals, and people. And so we start here the producer, then we have our herbivore, which is a zooplankton. All right, so even though they are plankton, there are different types of plankton. Zooplankton are animal-like, and phytoplankton, they are plant-like. Just to mention that, all right? And so they are the producer. That's what they distinguish between zoo and phytoplankton. So the question actually reads now that trophic level 1 represent by what? And so trophic level 1 is the start of any food chain or food web. So the start of a food chain or food web here is the phytoplankton. So therefore, phytoplankton is our first trophic level. All right, so remember now, consumer level is different from trophic level. All right? The first consumer level will be the zooplankton, just to mention that. All right. And a popular question, let's go back 1 second. A popular question that may emerge from these type of questions is how many possible food chain that you may have and things like that. So look out for those type of questions. All right. All right. So next question here on the list is number 5. All right. And so number 5, let's go on a little bit more. Yeah. So number 5 now refers to this diagram here, which is a mushroom. And so we say the organism shown above is a what? And so mushrooms, no, there's always a little debate about this one. That mushroom is either detritivore or a decomposer. And truthfully, they can belong to both, but they are primarily classified as decomposers, all right? So just to mention that. So yeah, they behave in some ways or characteristics of detritivores because they can absorb the dead materials like plant leaves, dead leaves and dead animals and so on. They can absorb the nutrients from them, but they are primarily decomposers, all right? Just to mention that. And that's why decomposer is the best answer. All right, so choosing C is not bad, but D is better. All right, item 67, which is question 67 now, refer to the following options. And so here now, we have parasitism, commensalism, mutualism, and synergism. Now, running through it for question 6, right? It said the relationship between a wild pine and a flamboyant tree. And so a flamboyant tree will actually grow on the pine bark. They love pine bark, and what they will do is kind of benefit from the dead part of it, but the pine itself will not be affected. So without no shadow of doubt here, number 6 here is going to be B. And so let me just put the letter there since there's nothing to circle right there. So let's put B right here for number 6. All right, it's a commensalism type of relationship. Now, for question number 7 now is the type of relationship between leguminous plant roots and the nitrogen-fixing bacteria. And so just to make a mention right here that the nitrogen-fixing bacteria live in the nodules of the legumes, and they will supply the plant with nitrates as well as they have protection, and they also get some waste materials to get from the legumes, as a matter of fact. And so yes, they have a mutualistic relationship right here. And so number 7 has to be C, okay? Mutualistic. So they both benefit. All right. Let's go on to question. Which question now? Question 8. All right, so this diagram now is a popular diagram as well. It's an item 8 refers to the following diagram, which shows energy flow through an ecosystem. And so we have a sun, we have a producer, heat is given off, and it's a popular diagram. So let's say it's the same question, as a matter of fact. And so yeah, it said the energy flow is not 100% efficient because energy is, and this is a popular question that we really do not need to waste time going through. And so again, organism will use energy for respiration, which means they produce energy for their own life functions. Okay, I need to get my light right there. All right, cool. Yeah, so they through respiration and you know what? Let me take this. I don't know what's going on. Okay, I see. Okay, I see exactly what's going on. All right, good now. Right, so B is the answer. So it lost energy through respiration and excretions. Remember now, every organism will use the energy obtained from the previous organism to carry out respiration, and so they can carry out their life function. So again, in any food chain, we refer to that as a standard value that energy decreases by 10%. All right? Yes, it's not 100% efficient because energy is lost by means of using energy to carry out their own function. All right, so question number 9 is which of the following is not an example of a renewable energy resource. And 9 here, as you look at it, you know that oil is a non-renewable resource, and so that's why oil is expensive, especially gas prices gone increasing right now. All right, wind, solar, biomass, they are definitely renewable energy. All right, and we need to run to those because those are alternative means to use energy. All right, let's go to the next question. Question number 14. Let me see which. No, let's go to 10. Yeah, 10 is better. All right, so which of the following practices do not again help to conserve the environment? All right, and so overgrazing, which means animal eating a lot of grass more than what can be grown or regrown. So definitely overgrazing is a problem right there. Do not conserve the environment. Crop rotation is a very good one. Reforestation is very good. Using natural fertilizer is also good. Yeah, so A without any question, all right? A is the one that is not. Let's see if 11 is better than 14 based on how the page set up. Okay, yeah, we can go on to 11. All right, I might as well go down to 12 as well based on how this section is set up. Now, number 11, it said human activities would have the least immediate impact on what? And it's a coral bleaching, eutrophication, overpopulation, formation of fossil fuel. Yeah, formation of fossil fuel. That don't take a very long time to form fossil. So immediate impact is not going to see in, will not see it in forming fossil fuels at all. But coral bleaching definitely. Quick action. Eutrophication, quick action by depositing fertilizer or manure in water bodies. You see excess growth of algae. Overpopulation, if definitely we having more children or we having a lot of children than what we can sustain, then definitely so. All right, term number 12. I said, which of the following effects of climate change poses the greatest threat to the small island? And if you look at it carefully, think about the word small island, right? And so when you have global warming and the sea level start to rise, then small island may end up disappearing. And so option A is a good choice right there. Ocean acidification, yeah, that may be a serious threat, but it won't be as devastating as rising sea level, right? Because the island can disappear if sea level rises to a certain level. All right, so 13, and then I go back up to the 14. I was trying to avoid that, but nonetheless, let's go through quickly. It said the greatest threat to the survival of coral reef are, and it's a one, decrease in nitrogen level. Here is saying that a decrease in greenhouse gases and increase in ocean temperature. Yeah, definitely corals, they're very sensitive to temperature changes and also salinity, which is salt. All right, so definitely C going to be the answer right there. All right, it's an increase in dissolved oxygen. That's a good thing for the organisms that live on the coral reef. All right, so let's go to question number 14 now. And number 14 refers to this graph. I already labeled for you right here. I went through it and just labeled it quickly. So here's a phase 4. Let's go down a little bit. So we have time and number of organism, which is population. So it's a phase 4 of the graph of population growth is most likely due to what? And there's a decrease in population at 4, as you notice that is labeled on the graph there. And so looking at it carefully, it's a disease resistance. If you have disease resistance, then population should increase, not decrease. High natural birth, it should be an increase. Adequate food and space should be an increase, but competition from invasive species definitely will decrease population. And so D can be our answer right there. Well, it is our answer. Now, question number 15, it said a mature plant cell is different from a mature animal cell because the plant cell has what? So what the plant cell has that the animal cell does not. And so mitochondria, both of them. A cell membrane, both. A large permeable vacuole, oh yeah, only the plant. Yeah, so the plant has a large centrally permanent vacuole. All right, nucleus suspended in the cytoplasm, both cells will have that. All right, question number 16 now. We're kind of running through real quick, and I really want to get this to you fast. Now, question number 16 refers to the following diagrams, and of course, I label them for you again to make life easier. So, which of the following options most likely identifies the organelles in 1 and 2 above? And so, 1 is a mitochondria, if you notice the design and the shape, and 2 is a chloroplast. So, right here is option C for number 16. All right, there's no discussion with that one. That one is straightforward. Now, number 17, yeah. We can go to number 17, and I guess we can go to 17 and 18. All right, so which of the following organelles is correctly matched with its function? And here's a ribosome site for protein synthesis. Yep, definitely ribosomes make protein, so yeah, that is good. Let me see what mitochondria is saying. Mitochondria is wrong. It's for energy, not space in the cell. Nucleus control activities, not control the movement of fat. Vacuole is side of energy usage. No, vacuole is for storage. All right, so cool. A is the answer right there. Number 18, it said, in a comparison between osmosis and diffusion, which of the following statements is not true? All right, and again, we're comparing here osmosis and diffusion. And it said osmosis only occurs in living cells, quite frankly, because guess what? Osmosis need a membrane, right? All right, even though we can demonstrate osmosis with using viscin tubing and all those things and certain material, we can actually demonstrate in a lab. All right, but generally osmosis will take place across a cell membrane. All right, so B now is that both processes require energy to move particles across. No, because it's not active transport, it's passive. Osmosis is a passive transport. And of course, some diffusion is passive, some is active. Some will be active, some will be passive. For C, it said that, and it said not. Oh, it said not. So B is the answer, right? It said both processes require energy to move particles. No, so this one is a lie. Because I am saying that osmosis do not require any energy because osmosis is a passive transport, does not require any energy at all. All right, so diffusion sometimes require partial repair membrane. And if you think about C, C is a correct statement because osmosis is a form of diffusion. All right, so yes. Now D now is a with both processes, molecules move from high to low concentration. Definitely is true. Yeah, so B is the answer there. All right, so question number 19 now. And question number 19 also refer to the following diagram, which represents a metabolic process carried out in plants. And notice that water is going in, light is going in, carbon dioxide is going in. What is coming out is oxygen. You have chlorophyll in chloroplast right there. And so what is also coming out is food, and food that comes out right here is glucose, because glucose is the sugar that is produced by photosynthesis. Instead, the food produced is what? Oh Lord, we have fat, we have starch, we have proteins, we have amino acid. All right. So listen, I'm going to work this out now. So I do not want to leave anything blank in the examination, right? So starch is the best answer. Let me tell you why starch is the best answer. Oh Lord, okay, let me erase. Let me take this thing out because that one is incorrect. Okay, so B, starch alone. I don't know why come on, why am I shading two things? All right, you know what? This is going to cause me a problem. So let me just do it this way. All right, so starch is the answer, right? I'm going to tell you why starch is the answer. So B is the option right here. And so why B is the option is simple this. Remember now that glucose is made and then glucose is transported in sucrose and then sucrose can be formed into starch, right? And so starch will be the storage form of the sugar that is made or the storage form of the carbohydrate. So it's still a carbohydrate, but it's a result of the production of sugar. So if you don't produce glucose, you can't produce starch. It's as simple as that, right? So that is like what is produced after the glucose. All right, so question number 20 now. It said, it's a refer to this diagram, and this is a cross-section of a dicotyledonous leaf, right? I'll label this for you to make life easy again. Upper epidermis is that part right here, right? We have a palisade mesophyll cell right here, or the palisade parenchyma, all right? Or the palisade mesophyll layer. And then we have a spongy mesophyll, which is right here, all of these spacious cells, all right? And then we have the vascular bundle, which is this dark region right here. And then the lower part of the leaf, we'll have the low epidermis. And of course, in the low epidermis, we have the more stomata. All right, but let's see what they actually asking us right here now. It said, which of the following statement, which of the following statements about the labeled parts are true? And so the first part here, if we look at it, let's go back to it. 1 is the upper epidermis, 2 is the palisade, and 3 is the vascular bundle. All right, let's go on to this now. All right, and it said that allows maximum sunlight to penetrate through transparent cell. Yes, so the upper epidermis, they need light to pass through them, even though they protect the leaf, but the light is able to pass through them so they could reach to the palisade and the spongy mesophyll cells. All right. 2, we said allowing for transpiration via spongy mesophyll. No, the 2 part don't look. No, that's not right. All right, so allow for transpiration via spongy mesophyll. No, transpiration actually takes place on top of the leaf, right? So definitely that's not true right there at all. All right, and for part 3, allow for gaseous exchange via spongy mesophyll cells. And yes, transportation, gaseous exchange can take place between the vascular cells, right, and also the spongy mesophyll cells because of movement of water as well. So if you have gaseous water can go in and out of those cells. All right, just to make mention of that. And so B is our best answer right here. 1 and 3. All right. Let's go to question number 21 real quick. All right, so question number 21 kind of long. All right, so refer to the following diagram right here. We have rate of photosynthesis. We have carbon dioxide in percentage right there. And then we have light intensity. So if you look at the shape of the graph, you notice that as light intensity increases, the rate of photosynthesis increases and then it plateaus. All right, so which of the following statement best accounts for the shape of the graph right here? And so A said that photosynthesis rate increases, there is a decrease in carbon dioxide. No, not at all. All right, so B now, here it said that as light intensity increases, the rate of photosynthesis also increase until a stationary phase when denaturization of the enzymes occur. So the enzymes are denaturing. That's not necessarily true that is taking place right there. it does mean that it cannot take in anymore. The process can't go any further. That's simple what is happening there. All right, if it was temperature now, then yeah, we can say denaturization of the enzymes. Now for C now, it says light intensity increases, there is an increase in photosynthesis until there is no further increase in the rate due to some other limiting factor. So yeah, this is a good choice right here. C is good. All right, and look at D. It says carbon dioxide levels gradually increases. There is no, that's not even referred to the graph about carbon dioxide level increasing and all that, right? So yeah, C is the answer. All right, so 22. Number 22 now refers to the following diagram of a tooth, and so it's labeled right there: enamel, dentine, pulp, and blood vessels, right? And also some of these can also be nerves as well, but they'll say blood vessel because the way they appear, right? There's no way to tell me if it's nerve or blood. So I'll say blood. I could say blood and nerve, okay? Now, anyway, let's go into the question right here. So which of the option correctly identifies the structure labeled 1, 2, 3, and 4? All right, so we deal with that already, and so let's go back to it. 1 is enamel, dentine, pulp, and blood vessel. All right, they do not have blood vessel, but they have dentine. They have capillaries right here. So enamel, dentine, pulp, capillaries. So 22 is C. All right, 22 is definitely C. All right, no worries about that. All right, 23. Where 23 is up? No, 23 is down. All right, so 23 is down. Let me just go 23 one time, and I go back up the page. I really prefer to go across the page, but nevertheless, let's keep it in order for now. Is that which of the following conditions are optimum for the action of salivary amylase? And this is a repeated question. Again, we talked about that in the last review. And so again, the mouth must have a normal body temperature, which is the best one is between 30 and 40. All right, and also the pH level is supposed to be almost neutral. So therefore here, B is the correct answer as well. All right, that's a repeated question. So we don't need to even go through that anymore. All right, question number 24. And so we have a food pyramid right here, and then I actually label, you have fats and oils, you have meat, fish, and poultry, you have fruits and vegetables, you have grains and cereal, which is a carbohydrate type of stuff right there. And it said, which of the following, which two food groups, I should say, should a person suffering from hypertension and diabetes limit? And so, if you have diabetes, right, then you're going to stay away from the starchy stuff, the things that contain a lot of sugar. So all this group right here, the starchy stuff, you stay away from those. And hypertension is definitely anything that is either oily or salty. All right. And so our best option there for 24 will have to be our cereal and grains, which is 4. So we can only choose between B and D, but let's look at 1 and 3 to see which one is the best one. All right. So 1 and 3. Oh, fruits and vegetables are something nice. Yeah, that's a good thing you need to, you consume those stuff. Yeah, so the oils and fats, you're going to stay away from those. All right. And so, yeah, so best answer here will be 1 and 4. And again, oil can also affect person with diabetes because guess what? Remember now, insulin is blocked from going into the cell because if you have too much fat in the body. All right, so fat molecules can block the action of insulin from carrying glucose into the cell. So you definitely, those two groups, stay away from those if you're diabetic. Now, for question number 25, so which of the following can be ingested to prevent osteomalacia or rickets? And so rickets, we definitely know right here that is calcium, is it, right? All right, so osteomalacia or rickets is definitely from calcium, all right? All right, because that you get soft bone or brittle bones, all right? Soft and brittle bones. Now, 26. For question number 26, so which of the following options correctly matches the gaseous exchange structures with the organism? And so human beings, we know is alveoli, so it's either B or C. There's no doubt about that. Now for fish now, that's what you need to look at now. For fish, let's say you don't know fish, right? But is the gill filaments, right? But let's say you do not know fish. Then you go to the plants. I know that you see leaves there, right? Again, we can only be between B and C. So you go to leaves, and large leaves are better than actually young leaves because young leaves do not have properly developed stomata and so on, right? And they are very thin. And so a lot of factors affect young leaves in terms of gaseous exchange. So definitely B for 26 is the best option right here, all right? Now 27. For question number 27, now, so the role of respiration is best described as the what? And again, a repeated question. So, and a matter of fact, everybody know this, or all of us should know this by now, that respiration is the production of energy from food. So 27 is A. All right, 28 now. Go back up the road, which I was avoiding. But anyhow, 28 is which of the following best identifies some of the transport substances in animals. And yes, we transport amino acids, we transport hormones, we do not transport sucrose, as I mentioned in the last review. Sucrose is being transported in plants by a process called translocation. All right? Respiratory gases, which is carbon dioxide and oxygen. Yeah, we do transport those in the blood. All right? Oxygen goes to the cell, carbon dioxide come back from the cell and go back into the alveoli and excrete. All right, so the option here now must be 1, 2, and 4. So 1, 2, and 4 is D. So 28 is D. All right. We're getting there. So we kind of speedy this time because, again, from a previous review, we don't need to explain certain things. All right, so question number 29 now. We said item 29 refers to the following diagram of a human heart. All right. And so I label some parts here, the aorta, the pulmonary artery, the pulmonary vein, the bicuspid valve. And I said, which of the following option correctly identifies the structure 1, 2, 3, and 4? Okay, so straight off the bat, we know that is the aorta first, pulmonary artery, pulmonary vein, and then we have our bicuspid valve. And so A is correct, right? A is correct in that order. All right, and the bicuspid valve is also called the mitral valve, just to make a mention of that. Yes, so 29 there is A. All right. Now 30 is an amoeba obtains all the oxygen it needs by diffusion via cell membrane, while a human needs to have special respiratory surfaces for this process or purpose, right? They say the best reason for this difference is what? And they say amoeba does not require much oxygen at all. Again, I've seen this question somewhere and I don't remember, but I've seen this question before. But the amoeba, it requires oxygen, all right? But is a good answer here, is a good option. I'm not telling no lie. Oxygen cannot pass through the skin of human. That's not the reason. It's a human requires a larger volume of oxygen, which is true, is a true statement as well. But in terms of what is really happening now, why our special things now is that in human surface area, the volume ratio is too small for diffusion to be effective. So this is the best option right here, to be honest with you. All right, because remember now, to supply the amount of oxygen you need to the cells and so on, in terms of your body ratio and the surface ratio and all that, definitely D is the best answer, scientifically speaking, yeah? All right, so we're at 30. Let's go to what? 31. Should I go across? Why not go across? All right, let's go across now. All right, because 34 is right there. Let's go straight across, 34. All right, so please pay attention to this one, right? 34, we're going to cross, not 31. We're going to go to 31 afterwards. So which of the following options correctly matches the storage organ to their stored nutrients? All right, so roots is definitely starch. And I'm giving an example like potato, right? Potato roots and cassava roots, yeah, they store starch in them, right? So now we're going to go between A and B right here for 34. Now, fruits contain sucrose, all right, and liver store glycogen. Yeah, so definitely, A is the answer right there without even going any further, all right? So let's go to 35 now. It said the best description of the role of excretion in living organism is to do what? Get rid of toxic waste. As I look at this, I see the answer. Yeah, we know that. We get rid of toxic waste for excretion, or we will call it metabolic waste. All right, so it's metabolic waste or toxic waste. Whichever one you want to refer to it as, no problem. Now 31 now. So 31 here now, it said that the essential vitamin and mineral salt required for blood clotting in humans are, and this one going to be vitamin K and calcium. All right, they are needed, and they are actually needed, as we call them, blood clotting factors. So when these are triggered now, we cause the platelets to form and all that. And of course, we went through this on a paper before we talk about prothrombin into thrombin, and then the thrombin turns into fibrinogen, into fibrin and all that. All right, so just to mention that, yeah. So please make sure you know the order of blood clotting. All right, so 32. Yeah, I can jump to 32 now. So it's under which condition will the rate of transpiration in plants be the highest? And so we're looking for when evaporation will be the highest from a plant, right? And so sunny and low wind, no. Sunny and high wind, yes. That's a good one right there. I'm not going any further, but let's just make sure because sometimes the answers can be really close. Cloudy. All right, let's not go any further. See, both of them have cloudy. Let's get rid of that. Yeah, 33. 33. All right, it's a translocation of sucrose in plants occur via specialized vessels, which do what? And now this is taking place in the phloem, right? And so dead and narrow cells that refer to the xylem. Xylem are dead cells, right? Are abundant in mitochondria? No, because again, that will require active transport and so on. So not necessarily a lot of mitochondria will be there. Contain sieve pores. Yeah, we're actually calling sieve tubes, really. All right, and their end walls. So definitely 33, we can work with C right here. For all right, it's a our thin hollow tubes that's and lignin. That's also referred to xylem. So yeah, so C is the best option right there. All right. All right, so let's go to question now. What 34? Yeah, 34. Oh, we answered 34 there. So we answered 35 as well. Let's go to 36 now. Now 36 now we said the item 36 refers to the following diagram of the mammalian kidney nephron. And nephron is what they call the filtering unit of the kidneys, right? All right, again, is also labeled. We have the Boseman capsule. And in the Boseman capsule, we have the network of capillaries called the glomerulus. And then we have the proximal convolution. Then we have a loop of Henle. Then we have the distal convolution right here. And then we have a collecting duct. All right, I shall label that one. Distal convolution, which is right here. And distal, easy way to remember distal is that it's distant away from the Boseman capsule. The proximal is in close proximity to the Boseman capsule, say closer to. All right, so that's how I really use to remember them. All right, anyway, let's jump into the action right here now. So 36 now is which option correctly identifies the function of the parts labeled 1, 2, and 3. And so in the Boseman capsule is where ultrafiltration will take place. All right, so A and B, as I look at this, has to be one of the options. Water conservation, selective absorption, C and D out, right off the bat, those out. All right, so look at this now carefully, right? Here it said that water conservation, that is in the proximal, which is not true right there, but it will absorb glucose. So it start to reabsorb glucose. So you have selective reabsorption, and some salts also will go back as well. And then the loop of Henle is kind of secondarily influenced by ADH, which is antidiuretic hormones that control water as well, because the loop of Henle also help with also reabsorption of some amount of water. But the major part, just make a note of this. Please make a note of this. The major part of the nephron that is influenced by ADH is actually collecting duct, because that's where the amount of water reabsorption will be finalized in terms of what's going to make sweat, what's going to make urine, and all of that type of stuff. Yeah, so B here is our best answer in any event. All right? All right. 37. In question number 37, it says, which of the following organs does the mammalian skeleton protect? And so it's a stomach, pancreas, bladder, duodenum. All right, so the blood and the duodenum, well, the duodenum specifically is really not really inside of a bone or covered by a bone necessarily still. But the others, they're pretty much protected by the skeleton. But I'm going to kind of narrow this a little way to show you what's happening here. Now, the bladder, based on the position of the bladder going down to the pelvic area, is not necessarily covered totally in a bone section. All right, so it's a little bit up, so it's not fully covered or protected by it. The pancreas is really between the liver right there, so the liver kind of cushion it. All right, but the stomach is right between, as it coming from the diaphragm or behind the diaphragm right there. So yeah, we're going to work with the stomach. All right, we're going to work with the stomach without a doubt. We're going to work with the stomach. The stomach is the best option based on this question right here. All right, so let's say stomach. All right. All right, so 38 now. It said, which of the following correctly describes the movement in plants? And that's 38. Let's go at 38 saying now. All right, it said that irreversible whole or part movement. It is irreversible. It is whole or part. All right. What do they say now? It said irreversible whole or part movement. That is kind of a true, but let's see if something better. I like A. I love A. Irreversible, and it is a whole or part movement. I like A a lot. Let's see what B is saying. Reversible. No, which is can't say reversible because the growth response in plant and not reversible because it's a growth response. Now C now say irreversible growth or part movement. Oh yeah, I like this even better because it's a growth or part movement of plants. So this is a better one. C is better than A. I like A, but C is better. Reversible. All right, let's forget about D. D and B out. But I'm gonna work with this C for the fact that they said growth because remember now that plant movement is really a growth movement, right? It can't walk or things like that. It really a growth movement, like for example, tropic responses. All right, yeah. So let's work with that. All right, 39. No, you know what? Let me go to 40. 40 is across the road. Now, so which of the following options correctly identifies the structures labeled 1, 2, and 3 above? All right, and so let me just quickly go up to the diagram now. 1, 2, and 3. I cannot label it. So 1 is in the hand where the impulse, or well, I should say the stimulus will be detected. So receptor cells are there. Then they transmit into the sensory neuron. Then you have a relay neuron, and then you have the motor neuron, and then at the end here, this picture is actually showing me nerve endings. But the nerve endings will connect to the effectors within the skin and the muscles of the I should say, of the hand, right? All right, so the receptors are in the skin, the effectors are in the muscles. All right, so now it asks us now to identify these things, and I want to make sure that we go through this and properly as best to see. All right, so which are following option now correctly identify structure label 1, 2, and 3. So A is receptor, 1 is receptor, definitely. 2 is a relay. No, hold on. Let me go back. I may label this wrong. No, I was right, The relay is just this small piece. Can I write on this thing? This small piece here is the relay neuron, right? Just to make mention of that. That part is the relay neuron. Now, what they're referring to here, they're pointing at the end here, this arrow. It's a sensory neuron. But now, let me go back to the chart. There's a sensory neuron there. But guess what? It's the tip of a sensory neuron going to the spinal cord. So it cannot, oh Lord, it's not even there. All right, so A is out. A is out for sure. So skin, intermediate is same as relay, so that is definitely wrong for 2. All right, a spinal nerve now. So we know that A and B is incorrect because of relay nerve or intermediate nerve, because 2 is not pointing to that. It's actually the tip of the sensory. And so I could work with either C or D. We have to. As a matter of fact, we have no choice based on the incorrect statement in A and B. And so it's a spinal nerve because truthfully, the sensory neuron, the relay neuron, and the motor neuron, they all connect in the spinal cord. And as such, you can call them spinal nerve, right? All right. So the fact now that 1, which is the first one, cannot be a sensory nerve, right? Because the first one has to be receptor. And then the last one now have to be effector, which is 3. But I don't like this diagram, to be honest with you. I'm going to tell you the truth. Because 3 is not necessarily showing you the effector. It's actually showing you the nerve endings, all right? And actually I label it as nerve endings, but the nerve endings will connect to the effectors. All right, so I guess they mean the circular region. Oh yes, they may be right, they are right. Because the circular region, I guess that's what they're pointing to. So that's the effector for real that is connected to the nerve endings. Yeah, so D is the best thing. Yeah, D is the best thing. D is nice. D is nice. D is nice. All right, so let's go to no, we can't go to 41. I go to 39. We miss out 39. Now for 39, here now, it said that which of the following options best describe the terms stimulus and response? So stimulus now is something that we can detect in the environment. I think we talked about that in the previous question, previous paper as well that we did. All right, so it's a deliberate provocation of an organism. No, it cannot be deliberate at all. No shape nor form. All right, so A is out. I'm going to the stimulus part of it, and once I see the correct thing, I will look at the response. It's an organism exposure to sunlight. Sunlight is a stimulus, right? It's a stimulus. All right, so that's not a bad one. And it's the growth of organism away from the light is a possibility. Like for example, roots. So B is not a bad option, but let me see what's happening here. At C, you see a wave of excitement in an organism. That's not the stimulus in itself. It's a locomotion of the organism. That's not necessarily it. All right, there must be something detectable. Oh, matter of fact, D is actually saying it. So there's a detectable change in the organism environment. So any detectable change in the environment. We did this question before, of course, we did. And so the stimulus is anything that can be detected in the environment or any change, such as change of temperature, change of light intensity, change of pressure, change of temperature, There's all stimulus. And our organism reaction to the stimulus. So that's a response. So definitely D is the best option right here. Yeah, D is the best option. So some of these answers are really close though. All right, let's go to question number 41 now. And question number 41, it states here that we have a skin. I'm just going to go through the skin. The outermost layer of the skin is called a stratum corneum. We have a basal membrane, which is this area right here. And then between here, we have the epidermis, and then we have a dermis here. And then I labeled 4 as neuron. The reason I did that is because I was mapping it and noticed the end part of it is as a branching all over the place, right? So I just say neuron. All right. At first, I was thinking it was capillaries, but I said, no, you know what? Let put this as neurons because this look at nerve endings up here. All right, but let's see if that's going to be important for the answer in the questions. Anyhow, it's the region which acts in a similar manner as SPF, which is sun protection factor, creams, is what? And this is a repeated question too. Just give a different type of diagram. And so again, the basal membrane is we're going to find, as I mentioned before, is melanocyte, and melanocyte produce melanin. And so B has to be your answer. All right, I think I explained that question in the previous review. All right, so question number 42. Yeah, we're going through this nicely. It's the function of the choroid layer of the eyes is to do what? It's a focus light onto the focus light rays. No, that's the lens is doing that job. Prevent internal reflection. Oh yeah, internal reflection, definitely. That's the answer right there. Maintain shape of the eyeball. No, that's the fluid that actually do that. That vitreous humor. All right. Control the amount of light entering the eye. That would be the pupil. So yeah, so B is the answer. All right, let's go to 45 at the same time. Going across. All right. As a 45 here now, it said that contraception is used primarily to do what? Limit the size of families. That's a nice option right there. Cause infertility in human. No, that's not the purpose of it. That would be wicked. Prevent the spread of sexual transmitted diseases. That's not the purpose. That's to control and prevent pregnancies. So A seemingly good. Increase the rural population. No, it's actually A. Yeah, so A is the option right here. All right. I guess this one to highlight everything, so no problem. A is the option. All right, so we can go to 46. 46 now. And the 46 is where does fertilization of the egg cell or ovum occur in a flowering plant? So in flowering plants. And so the stigma is not where fertilization takes place. All right. So that's actually where the pollen grain will fall, which is actually where pollination takes place. And endosperm, no, that's in the seed right there, especially monocotyledon plant that transport, that's actually stores food, I should say. Pollen grain, no. So embryo sac is the correct answer. We don't say embryo generally. Yeah, so the embryo sac is definitely answer. All right, we can go to 43 now, I think. Let me go down a little bit more. Yeah, let's go to 43. It's a 43 refers to this diagram right here, which illustrates a measurement of growth in living organism. And it says, which of the following is an incorrect label for the y-axis? Again, we have gone through this question. But this time, they didn't put the time on the x-axis. All right, because remember now, on the x-axis, we have the independent variable. On the y-axis, we have the dependent variable. And the only independent variable right here, generally speaking, is time. So time will not be on the y-axis at all. It is an independent variable. The others are dependent variable. They usually put on the y-axis. All right, 47. And the 47 now is a reference to the following diagram of a flower. And so we have a stigma, we have an anther here, that's his label right here. We have an ovary and we have a receptacle. Right here that I'm pointing to right now is called the style. Okay, so we have stigma, style, ovary that makes up the female part of the flower. All right, which is the carpel. All right. And so the male part now, also called the pistil. Carpel or pistil is the female part. The male part is the anther and the filament. All right, and it's called the stamen. All right, only anther is labeled right there based on the numbers. And so right here now it said, which of the following? We said, which of the labeled parts is responsible for the production of male gametes? And so male gametes, which is pollen grains, are produced in the anther. And one bit of information for you to take home right now is that the anther will produce pollen, and each pollen grain contains 2 sperm cells. All right, so that's something that you need to know. All right, each pollen grain contains 2 sperm cells. Now, 47 now. Oh, we did answer this, yeah? So label part responsible male gamete, which is, let me just quickly highlight that, which is the anther, and that is part 2. So B is the correct answer right there. All right, let's go to 44 now. So if we go to 44, because we didn't answer that one. All right, so 44 now refer to the following activities involving in the menstrual cycle. It's a repair of the uterus lining with the endometrium, ovulation, shedding of the uterus lining with the shedding of the endometrium, development of the Graafian follicle. It's a which of the following is the correct sequence of activities. All right, so where they put this now? Let me see. We're gonna work through this. All right, what I'm gonna tell you. All right, easy way to work through this. What I'm gonna tell you is that based on what I'm looking here, right? We have 4 of them. Now, repair of the uterine lining must take place before ovulation. That's something that you must know, right? So after the wall is shed, which is menstruation, the wall must be repaired. All right, and estrogen is responsible for that. Just to make mention of that, and then you go to ovulate. Now, ovulation is what hormone responsible for ovulation is LH, right? Luteinizing hormone responsible for ovulation. I just put in that information right there. But no, remember this now. Number 1 must come before number 2. Because you cannot have ovulation, then repair the wall of the uterus. No, you repair first, then you ovulate. So let's look through the option and see which of them looking good. All right, so A, 1 comes before 2, which is awesome. B, 2 before 1, no, you can't ovulate and repair. No, so B is out. C is still in, that is also good, 1 before 2. D is out because 2 come before 1. So you see, we eliminate 2 things. So answer can only be between A and C. All right, so let's see which one now is the best one now, because we need to know which one is the best one, A or C. So we have 1 repair of the uterine walling, then we have the ovulation take place, and then 3 now is a shedding of the uterine lining, and then you have development of the Graafian follicle. And truth be told, that you must shed the lining of the uterus first before you develop the Graafian follicle. All right, because while you're menstruating, then now because of FSH, then what's going to happen here now, you're going to start develop that Graafian follicle, develop that egg. All right, and so, oh my, this is actually in order. 1, 2, 3, and 4 in that specific order. Wow, they're playing tricks here. All right, so this is A for 44. All right, so 44 is good. All right, 40, where we at? I think we should be almost 50 now. No, 48. All right, so a vector is defined as an organism that do what? A vector is a bites human. Well, dog can bite us too, so it's not necessarily true. All right, causes diseases. True, they can cause disease, but the word vector means they transmit actually. So 48 has to be D without even going any further. The word transmit disease is the key word here. All right, so mosquitoes, for example, they are vectors, they transmit diseases. Now 49, let's go to 49 and go to 50. Now 49 says which of the following organisms transmit the yellow fever virus, and I kind of put the names of the diseases that are transmitted by these organisms right here. I just want to point out something that the Colix definitely is a species of mosquito, and it really responsible for the West Nile fever. The testy is a fly, and the testy fly is responsible for what they call sleeping sickness, right? It's some African-born disease. I can't remember the exact name of it, but it's a sleeping disease. That's all I remember. The Anopheles now, those mosquitoes now will responsible for malaria. Now, the Aedes aegypti, which get blamed for so many different things, all right, they respond for yellow fever, dengue fever, chikungunya, and Zika. All right, and so our answer here has to be D for 49. Okay, 49 is D. All right. 49 is D. All right, that's good enough. Right, good. Now 50. It said, which of the following are used in the management of diabetes? Now, dieting is very good because you're gonna stay away from sugar and starchy stuff, or complex carbohydrates. Exercise is a good way. Meditation, yeah, you can meditate for anything, but not necessarily for diabetes, because if you're not producing insulin, there's no way you can meditate unless it's a miracle. All right, so the meditation thing, no, it's not a medical thing. It may be more a spiritual thing that make your body may work in a hyper spiritual realm that make you produce it, which would be awesome. That would be a miracle type of thing. All right, so scientifically 1 and 2. Okay, so 1 and 2, so 50 has to be A. All right. All right. And so meditation is good. So you need to meditate. A matter of fact, you all need to pray as well. Pray every day, meditate, to have a good mind, because that can affect your health overall, you know. All right, but not directly to say, okay, they're going to cause you to treat diabetes. No. All right, 51. Which of the following options correctly describe DNA, chromosomes, genes, and allele? All right, this is a repeated question again. And so A said deoxyribonucleic acid, which is DNA, is a DNA plus histamine, which is not the correct answer, right? You look for histone, DNA plus histone. And so we must jump down to the answer right here, because this one is the answer. I could see it. And this is a repeated question. Gene is the smallest unit of inheritance, definitely. And alleles, they are alternate forms of genes or different forms of genes. So yes, C is the answer for 51. All right, there's no even need to even discuss that. A repeated question. I already talked about that in a previous review. 52 is as a result of mitosis, each daughter cell has what? And so it's a variable number of chromosomes. No, that don't make any form of scientific sense. Is it twice the number of chromosomes? No, you can't have twice the number of chromosomes as parent cell. That's something mutated took place. C, the same number of chromosomes as parent cell. Definitely 52 is C. No further discussion with that one. 53. For question number 53, did I miss out anything? Oh, okay, no. It's a Tarzan and Jane, both of whom are heterozygous for blood group A and B, respectively, can have offspring that are likely to be what? And so just to quickly make use of time, skipping out all of that writing stuff. So heterozygous A is AO, heterozygous B is BO. And so if you notice here, these are the results of the possible blood type of the offspring. So AB is a different group by itself. So that's 25% AB. AO is A group, 25% A. BO is the B group, 25% B. O is the O group, 25% O. And so option D is our correct answer. 25% for all the group, A, B, AB, and O. All right. Next question, 54, and we're almost there. Now, Zane, the son, keyword here now, the son of Tarzan and Jane, all right, may have inherited the red-green color blindness gene from his parents, right? So get it from the parents. No, what is going to important now is that neither Tarzan nor Jane is colorblind. So if none of them are colorblind, but his son now and his really Tarzan child, then it means therefore that Tarzan and Jane, they have to be what they call hybrid or heterozygous. They are carriers for that gene. Now, if N represent the allele for normal, which both of them must have, all right, and N represents the allele for color blindness, which both of them must also have as well, that's the only way the son can get it, and that's only 25% chance. Remember the 3-to-1 ratio, that 25% chance is the possibility of color blindness. Now, watch how this works. It's a genotype of appearance would most likely to be what? Now, follow me now carefully, right, to get this answer. Follow me carefully. Now, remember now, for the son to be born, the son must get the X chromosome from his mother. Okay? Must get an X chromosome from his mother and get the Y chromosome from his father. Now, if you look at A, Tarzan himself right here is heterozygous because uppercase N right here, there's nothing on the Y, right? For Jane, heterozygous, uppercase and lowercase. So yes, this is a good one. 54, A looks good. All right, let's look at B to see if B make any sense. Now, if X is lowercase n, and that means Y is also lowercase n, that means Tarzan is colorblind. Remember in the statement, none of them are colorblind. Jane is not colorblind here, but Tarzan is. All right, let's go to C. Tarzan is colorblind. Jane is also colorblind. That can't work. D is saying that, okay, Tarzan is not colorblind, but Jane is colorblind, because when you say two lowercase n's, it means that they are colorblind. That person is colorblind. Without the letter at all on the Y, that means it is a recessive carrying chromosome. All right, so it's a X-linked condition. And so A is the answer for definitely sure. A is the answer. All right, no doubt about that one. 58. Let's go to 58, then we'll go to 55, right? Since cross the road. Now, which of the following is true about natural and artificial selection? Again, it's a repeated question, you know. It's a repeat question here. And so for 58, it said occurs in domestic population for natural? No. That must be in the environment. Involve genetic modification for natural? No. Environment acts as the population which environment acts on the population which adapts. Yeah, that is really something good right there for natural selection. Faster process, no, is slower. So the only correct option right here, even this column, is actually C. So let's go to what this part is saying. Selective breeding for particular trait. That artificial selection, definitely off the bat. So C is the answer. No need to go any further. Now 55 and 59 respectively, let's look at those. And then we jump on, oh, we have 56 as well. Okay, so 55 is a variation in population is due to what? It's a mutation, crossing over, asexual reproduction, random segregation. Oh Lord. See the answer right here. No, asexual reproduction cannot be in this answer because asexual reproduction will give the same exact trait as a parent. All right, because it's produced the genetically identical daughter cells. All right, so let's anything with 3, we don't take it out. So number 1, A is out, C is out, D is out. So we only have what? B. Okay, so B is the answer right there. By process of elimination, easy one. All right, so B is the answer right there. 56. No, let's go to 59. We're just going across the road. All right, so which of the following is an ecological implication of genetic engineering? Answer: loss of biodiversity. Loss of biodiversity, that's a good one because it's an implication right there. Because if you're genetic engineer, then yeah, you can have loss in biodiversity. It's a human playing God. Well, depends on how you look at situation here. It said higher price of organic food, not necessarily that could actually decrease it. Reduced incidence of allergic reaction. All right, 59. Loss of biodiversity is the best option I'm choosing right here. Yeah, loss of biodiversity. All right, that's where we're going. Yep. All right, that's an implication right there. All right, genetic engineering, definitely. Yeah, I'm going with A for 59. All right, number 56. Oh Lord, we missed out a lot. All right, 56 here now. Is a variation is important to population because it ensures what? You see, notice again now. This is variation in population is important to population because it ensures, and this is very important, diversity. Once you have variation, you're going to have diversity. So 56 has to be A right off the bat. There's no even need to discuss that one. 57, I think I'm leaving 60 for last. All right, 57. But 57 here now is a speciation made due to which of these? And so we have geographical isolation. So geographical isolation can cause speciation for definitely true. Behavioral differences in courtship, which is sexual reproduction. So if a difference in how they behave, like for example, mating season and so on, that could affect speciation, definitely. Mutation is not the general cause of speciation. So 1 and 2 is going to be our options. So 57 has to be B. And I think we're on our last question now, which is number 60. All right, and I deliberately leave that for last. All right, so 60 is the last one. So which of the following describe the process of genetic engineering? All right, and so it's a tissue sample treated to promote growth of cells. That's a nice thing. It's a stem cell or grown and used to treat medical problems. That's also good for genetic engineering. Chromosomes from an egg cell are replaced by the nucleus from the somatic cell, which I don't know. No, that's not necessarily true right there. That's not the best option. A gene is inserted into a vector, which is then used to transfer the gene to a host cell. Yeah, this sound good. I remember the concept of insulin being made by the bacterium. We did that on the previous paper. So this is a kind of a similar thing that they're actually describing. All right, so yeah, but it's not really a vector type of situation, but it's kind of similar in terms of taking the plasmid, insert gene into it, and then you make insulin and so on. So those are aspects of genetic engineering. All right, so this is the end of the review right here. I hope you do well in the examination. I know I'm close to time. So anyway, talk to you soon, and I see you again.